Welcome to this explainer on Section 2.4, covering Brinell and Rockwell hardness testing. Today, we're going to break down the exact mechanics behind these two absolute heavyweights of material testing. Seriously, whether you're designing a custom mountain bike frame or, a literal skyscraper, these tests are the ultimate gatekeepers of material safety. To kick things off, imagine you're the lead engineer on a project. You need to know exactly how durable a piece of metal is for a super crucial application, like a turbine blade and a jet engine. But, here's the catch. You obviously can't destroy the final, highly expensive part just to find out if it's strong enough, right? So how do you actually prove its strength without wrecking it? That's exactly where hardness testing comes in. Here is your roadmap for today. We'll cover what is hardness, why test for hardness, the Rockwell test, the Brinell test, Rockwell versus Brinell, and finally, the golden rules of testing. Let's jump right in. All right, Section 1. What is hardness? Defining the core concept. So the strict engineering definition you'll need for your diploma assessments is this. Hardness is a material's resistance to localized plastic deformation. Now, what does that actually mean in plain English? Well, plastic deformation just means a permanent change in shape. So hardness is really just a measure of how well a material fights back against getting a permanent, localized dent or scratch right on its surface. If it resists denting, it's hard. If it yields and dents easily, it's soft. Pretty straightforward, right? Back in the day, engineers used something called the Mohs scale. This was a super basic method where you literally just scratched one material against another. Talc was a 1 on the soft end, and diamond was a 10 on the hard end. But as you can guess, modern industry needs exact numbers, not just guessing if material A scratches material B. So today we use quantitative testing. We use precision machines that force a tiny, carefully measured indenter into the surface of the metal under highly controlled conditions. This gives us absolute repeatable data every single time. Moving on to Section 2, why test for hardness? The practical reasons for testing. Why is this literally the most frequently performed mechanical test on the modern shop floor? It comes down to 3 massive reasons. First, it's simple and inexpensive. You don't need to machine a complex, costly test specimen. The testing machine itself does almost all the work. Second, it is virtually non-destructive. Because you're only making a microscopic dent, the part can often still be used in actual service without compromising its structural integrity. And third, measuring a metal's hardness gives us an amazing shortcut to accurately predict other vital mechanical properties, specifically its tensile strength. Honestly, it's an absolute game changer for engineering efficiency. Now for Section 3, the Rockwell hardness test, the industry standard. Enter our first heavyweight contender in the testing ring, totally renowned for its incredible speed. The crucial thing to understand about Rockwell is how it actually measures the metal. The magic here is that it relies entirely on a difference in depth. Step 1, the machine applies a minor load, usually around 10 kilograms. This gently seats the indenter into the metal, establishing a baseline 0 point to completely eliminate surface errors or imperfections. Step 2, it punches in with a much larger major load, driving the indenter deep. Step 3, the machine measures exactly how much deeper that major load went compared to the initial minor load. That precise difference in depth, that's your Rockwell hardness number. To handle different materials, Rockwell uses a variety of indenters. For softer alloys, we're talking small hardened steel balls, ranging from a 1/16 to a 1/2 inch in diameter. But for the absolutely hardest materials, like high-strength steels or titanium, it uses a conical diamond indenter called a Brinell. It pairs these specific indenters with major loads of 60, 100, or 150 kilograms depending on the application. And the absolute best part? A modern Rockwell machine gives you a direct, automated digital readout in mere seconds. No complex math required whatsoever. Which brings us to Section 4, the Brinell hardness test, the heavy-duty alternative. When Rockwell isn't quite right for the job, we turn to challenger number 2. And wow, Brinell does things on a much larger scale. Instead of a tiny diamond cone, Brinell utilizes a massive 10mm spherical indenter made of hardened steel or tungsten carbide. It doesn't mess around with light loads either. It uses crushing forces up to 3,000 kilograms. And instead of a quick punch, that load is held steady for a full 10 to 30 seconds. Why? To allow the heavy metal to fully yield, ensuring the plastic deformation has completely settled before taking a reading. This completely highlights the difference in methodology. While Rockwell measures depth, Brinell measures the diameter of the crater left behind. Because the dent is so wide and shallow, you actually have to use a special low-power microscope with a built-in scale to optically measure the exact width of the indentation. Once you have that diameter measurement in millimeters, you look it up on a standard conversion chart to find your final Brinell hardness number, which you'll usually see written simply as HB. Let's compare them directly in Section 5, Rockwell versus Brinell, the table of the tape. Consider this your ultimate cheat sheet for your exams. Let's put these testing titans side by side. First up, what is actually measured? Rockwell measures the depth of penetration, while Brinell measures the diameter of the indentation. Next, the indenters. Rockwell uses tiny diamond cones or small steel balls, making it great for high precision. Brinell uses that massive 10mm ball, which is fantastic for materials with a rough or uneven microstructure. Finally, result generation. Rockwell gives you a direct, instant digital readout, whereas Brinell requires you to manually measure the dent with a microscope and convert it using a chart. Moving to our final part, Section 6, Golden Rules of Testing, Securing Accurate Results. Regardless of which method you choose, you have to play by the rules of the game to avoid collecting completely useless data. Here are the non-negotiables. First, your metal specimen must be at least 10 times thicker than the depth of the dent. Otherwise, the hard anvil underneath will actually artificially inflate your reading. Second, you cannot test too close to an edge or closer than 3 diameters to a previous dent. Why? Because that localized plastic deformation we talked about earlier actually work hardens the metal right around the dent. If you test too close to an old dent, the metal there is artificially harder and boom, your results are ruined. Finally, your surface must be perfectly smooth and flat, and you should literally never, ever stack specimens on top of each other during a test. But hey, if you follow those rules, you unlock one of the coolest cheat codes in material science. Here is an amazing engineering shortcut for most steel alloys. You can simply take the Brinell hardness number you just carefully measured, multiply it by a constant of 3.45, and you will instantly estimate the metal's tensile strength in megapascals. Just a quick calculation on the shop floor, and you immediately know how much pulling force that steel can withstand before snapping. It's a seriously powerful tool for any engineer. So as you move out of your diploma studies and into your actual engineering careers, keep this in mind. We are surrounded by incredibly strong metals every single day in our cars, our airplanes, our bridges. Take a second to ask yourself, how are the materials surrounding you right now hiding the microscopic dents that prove their strength? And the very next time you trust your safety to a mechanical part, was it the depth of a Rockwell diamond or the wide diameter of a Brinell steel ball that verified its hardness?